Hello everybody, and welcome to this week's Tech Cookie. As always, I hope this recording finds you well. And this week, I thought I would just go over something that I've gotten a lot of questions about, that our whole staff, in fact, has gotten a lot of questions about over the past couple months, particularly in the wake of COVID, as more and more of our circulation is now shifting to the electronic platforms, most importantly the cloud library. And that question is cloud library and Kindles. It's not a straightforward thing, and so I just wanted to sort of cover the two major Kindle models. The first is the Paperwhite, and the second is the Fire. And I just wanted to quickly go over some of the key differences, particularly as how it relates to our electronic offerings. So I'm not on our familiar homepage this week. I'm actually on the Amazon website, just so I can show you these two models and we can quickly go over them. So we're starting today on the Paperwhite. And so the Paperwhite comes in a black and white screen. And that black and white screen has a big advantage, and when it comes to reading in particular. And that big advantage is that even if you're in extremely bright sunlight, let's say you're out on the beach, and you'll notice now they're advertising that they've waterproofed it, because I think they know a lot of people like to take these to the beach or other waterside areas, is that even in bright sunlight, even in direct bright sunlight, you're still going to be able to read that screen just fine. And that is a big advantage over other electronic screens which don't have the brightness to cope with direct sunlight. So this, in a lot of ways, is more like really an electronic book. It is focused very much on reading and reading alone. And that's why the screen is black and white. That's why it's very visible in direct sunlight. But there really are no apps for this device. And that's very important because that includes the cloud library. So there is no way at present to read a cloud library book you borrowed from our library on the Kindle Paperwhite. It is primarily designed to be a front end for the Kindle bookstore. And so keep that in mind when you make that purchase. I can see why people are attracted to this product, because it is, I think, the best electronic reading experience that they offer. But it does have that very significant drawback when it comes to us at the library, in that it does not support the cloud library. And just to go over a couple of the options really quick here, you can change the storage capacity. It defaults at 8 gigabytes, which honestly 8 gigabytes is going to hold a ton of books. But if you feel like you need more, you can go up to 32. And then there's also ad supported, which means when it's on its lock screen, you're going to see ads from Amazon. Or you can buy without the ads, which will not have any ads on the lock screen, and then there's different colors. The second model, as I mentioned before, is the Fire, and this is the Fire right here. Now you'll notice right off the bat it's got a color screen. You'll notice also right off the bat, sort of like a smartphone, it has apps. And those apps are what allow things like the cloud library to function. So you can go ahead, you can download the cloud library app from the App Store on the Kindle Fire. You can go ahead and you can install that app, sign in with your library card number, and then you can go ahead and start reading all the books you've borrowed on your Kindle Fire device. Again, as we mentioned previously, the drawback, well, there's two drawbacks really. The biggest one is that it will not be readable in direct bright sunlight. The screen will just be too washed out. It won't be a fun experience. The second drawback is that because the Kindle Paperwhite is such a simple device with very few bells and whistles on it, it has actually got a better battery life than the Kindle Fire does. Now you'll notice, interestingly, the Kindle Fire is actually cheaper. The ad-supported version starts at $89.99, whereas the Paperwhite ad-supported starts at $129.99. And again, that is because I think Amazon really positions that Paperwhite as the premier electronic reading experience. But again, your choices are much more limited. So, obviously you make the decision that makes the most sense for you, but I just thought it would be good to go over the key differences between the two, and hopefully answer any questions that people had about these two e-reading platforms from Amazon. As always, if you have any questions, you can email me at mtpl@montvillelibrary.org, and I'd be happy to answer any questions that you come up with. That's it for me this week. Take care. I will see you down the road.